So apparently we have gimmicks.
What do you mean gimmicks?
So, because new listener, apparently, finally, my girlfriend started listening to the podcast.
Oh, see, I haven't gotten my girlfriend listening to it. She watches our YouTube videos, but she doesn't listen to our podcast.
She doesn't listen?
Well, she doesn't listen to podcasts in general.
Wow.
So, yeah, right?
Okay, so my girlfriend started listening to our podcast. She actually was listening to it on her way to work this week and last week.
That's pretty cool. Thank you.
Yeah. No, yeah.
For listening.
You're recording?
I'm recording.
Yay! Anyways, it goes alongside what I was going to tell you.
That's what I'm saying.
I figured this out early. It didn't take me like 2 minutes. So she was telling me that she was listening to it, and she's like, "Yeah, it's actually pretty good." She's my harshest critic. Like so
is my girlfriend.
Okay, no,
yeah.
we're not talking like a tough critic. We're talking the harshest critic.
Why is it always the significant other that's like...
Because they love us and they want to see the best of us. I guess so. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. Mm-hmm. Like, I love her for that, you know? Like, she tries to make sure I'm the best person I could be. Yeah. But sometimes her words hurt, and I'm just like... Okay.
So what was the harshest thing?
No, she had none.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she didn't. I told her, I'm like, so what'd you think of it? Because she watches and listens to some of the projects that I do and stuff like that. And when I first started podcasting, she was very harsh on the fact that we were very all over the place, that the chemistry wasn't there, that, you know, the episodes seemed to be just scrambled and stuff. And I told her about this, and I'm like, well, what do you think of this one? Yeah. That was before.
Oh,
you know, when we first,
the other ones?
This is keeping up with the soundboard. And,
or
not
Tales
of
from the soundboard?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Years and years ago. Yeah. Oh,
I thought she was talking about us.
No. We were together for like 7 years. This is like when we've been together for 7 years. This was maybe when we were about a year or two in, I want to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was pretty tough, but like I told her, I'm like, okay, so what do you think of the one, you know, Keeping Up with the Nerds? She's like, I got no criticism. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, like, because I'm like, what are you hiding? What are you hiding? She's like, no, it's you guys have really good chemistry. Your voices are really, you know, they sound natural. And it sounds like you guys have written structure, but I know you guys don't write anything.
No, we don't.
And I'm like, no, Rene and I literally show up to the room to record, and we're just kind of like
this is guidelines that we're doing. Like, we'll just have like little things. Okay, this happened. All right, this happened. Okay, and we just kind of like. Oh yeah.
Remember when we were first starting with like issues 1, 2, and 3? We would have guidelines.
We had like structures and like little topics upon topics within those topics.
Not this time,
not
buddy.
This time.
We're just kind of like. And throw them away.
Threw away the structure.
So I didn't know this about myself, and it was her that had to kind of like open up my eyes to it. But apparently, according to her, I have a very expressional face.
Yes, you do.
Okay, see, I don't believe that.
No, you do.
So when people tell me that,
That's why I'm always laughing when I tell you stuff.
Because you see my face, right?
I see your face.
I don't know what I'm doing. There are times where I literally don't know what my face looks like. And she's like, that's something that like it always makes me laugh, is that usually when I tell you something, your face is always making some sort of weird expression. You don't have to say anything, your face says it all. And so she was pointing out certain parts, and I think she's only listened to like the last 2 or 3 episodes. I don't think she's gonna go back on the back catalog.
No, that's a lot. I wouldn't ask
it's 18 issues now. Yeah. So she was like, yeah, you know, whenever Rene tells you something and you're kind of quiet, I can tell what kind of faces you're making. And I was just kind of like, okay.
Like right now, you're making a face right now.
What?
It's just your eyes squinty and your mouth kind of like that. I'm like, what?
I don't even realize it at times. And now, like when people point it out, I kind of get self-conscious about it. So just like neutral, but then I can't help
try
it.
Not to.
I try not to. Yeah. So we got a listener, and that's my girlfriend now, which is good. We got another one. So she's actually been listening to it too.
Must be great to have a girlfriend that listens to your podcast.
Oh, don't say that now.
No, she's not going to listen to
no,
this.
she will. Watch her listen to this specific one
she's
and then be like,
I should listen to it. This one. On Wednesday, she's at work. She's like, you know what? I'm going to listen to my boyfriend's podcast. And then she gets me right here at the 4 minutes and 30-second mark. I get a text.
What? Shout out to Andy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the support.
Much.
So I love you. Thank you.
Aww. Every one of our listeners just gagged. Just kidding. No, I'm kidding.
All right, Rene, I know you got a story as well to share.
Yes. So I actually have a critique. Not a critique, but more of a opinion against beef, if anything.
Beef with
it's
me.
Beef with Bryan.
Oh my God, it's
not
friend of the show Rebel for the first time
for the
ever.
first time. It's not friend of the show Rebel.
It took 19 issues.
Well, no, apparently this was backlog. So this was a listener from our friend, another friend of, not friend of the show.
Not a friend of the show.
I'm so sorry. A fan of the show, Joe Sanchez, his significant other, started listening to the podcast, and she listens to it when she goes to work, and she walks to work, so it's like an hour or so.
Okay.
And she listens to it on her way, and she started from the beginning. She listens to I think she listened to maybe like the latest 5 episodes before episode 18. And she decided, okay, well, I'm all caught up, so she went back. She got, I think it was episode 4 when we talked about the new trilogy.
Let's see. Keep going.
Yeah, where we talked about the new trilogy and how the way you were defending Rian Johnson's Last Jedi.
Yeah, because he's actually, I don't want beef with him. What the heck? It's like every time I speak out with Rian Johnson, people are like, you're freaking wrong. No!
Yeah, so she didn't agree with it, but she liked how because I was on the same path with you, because I was on the same boat with you.
Issue 6.
Issue 6.
Yeah.
Okay. It was issue 6 where we were talking about Last Jedi. The thing is that she grew up with it, she grew up with the original trilogy and stuff like that. That's why when she looked back at Rian Johnson's, her name's Lulu.
Okay.
And that's her name, Lulu. I told her that we shout her out on the show. And I was just laughing because Joe was just like quiet and not, he's like, oh, yeah.
Is actual legitimate beef with what I had to say?
Yeah, yeah, apparently. But at the same time, she understood, Joe was saying, it's their opinions. It's just their opinions. He's all, because they make it well known that this is all just opinion-based podcast.
Do I declare fact on this?
You want to do a fact
No,
check?
I don't. Actually, no. I don't want to get someone mad over my take on stuff.
No, but at the same time, it was great. It was funny. All criticism is great criticism.
So what did she say? Or actually, you know what? We'll put it this way.
Well, she didn't like The Last Jedi, basically.
She didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
a
why.
Lot of people did,
and that's why when I guess we were talking about certain points that Rian Johnson was doing in the film that we enjoyed. She didn't agree with. She was like, no, you're wrong. She's all like, she said, she literally told me that she literally was listening to her earbuds, was walking to work, a guy passed him, and she says, no, you're wrong. And the guy turned around and was like, what? So thank you again, Lulu and Joe, for listening to the podcast, guys. And keep listening to the podcast. So thank you so much.
Lulu, nothing but love and nothing but appreciation for listening to the show.
Yes.
I want to know exactly what the whole point was. So if you have the time, find because I believe you post every issue on Instagram. I post every issue.
If anything, she doesn't have social media. She's actually off the grid. So if anything, have Joe comment down below of what your points were.
Not on the Spotify.
Yeah.
If he has an Instagram
on the
or
Instagram
or a Twitter, reach out to us through social media. I want to know what the point is because I do.
Or send us a message, or send me a message, or send the show a message.
Yeah, and we'll tackle it in the next issue.
We'll tackle it in the next issue, definitely.
I want to see, not tackle it, but I do want to see what it is.
Yeah.
Because there are some things that I feel like I say and I don't really remember.
That's the thing.
Because
and
I
told her the same thing. I was like, the thing is that those are the early issues, and I don't remember what exactly we talked about.
I want to know what it is.
I actually forgot I did. I went both ways, and and basically, defended it, but then also tried to criticize it.
I had a conversation about the late trilogy not that long ago, and I remember talking. Oh, it was at the camping trip. We were talking about the Star Wars.
Speaking of which, how was it?
It was pretty good. We'll talk about more of it when we actually after the intro, because I know we're hitting the 7 or 8 minute mark right now. So we'll talk more about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I want to know exactly what happened. So John or Lulu, reach out to us.
Joe.
Joe and Lulu. We'll reach out to us and we'll discuss it more in the next issue. I'd really like to talk about it because, like I said, I recently spoke out about the new trilogy again during the trip, and I kind of have different ideas that I feel like have matured a little bit more since the last issue. Matured
in the past week.
But yeah, so yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to revisit it. But yeah, with that said, we got a couple announcements afterwards to make. So let's go ahead and hit the intro, and then we'll get to it. Renee, start us off.
All right. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Keeping with the Nerds Variety Hour, coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, aiming to be Whittier's #1 podcast in all things nerdy. I'm Rene.
This is Bryan.
And welcome to the show, everyone.
Yes! Dude, it's flowing so easily. I've been listening to the podcast now, so you saying it without the music feels weird.
It does. Yeah. And saying it without the music is weird. So we have to kind of like make sure we're like,
and saying it, you can't screw up, which is,
you don't see that,
I guess, good.
Our energy drinks.
You actually said that you want to switch up the energy drinks, right?
Yeah, because I noticed that the last bangs I had, I noticed the aftertaste I don't like anymore.
I think it's just because we get used to it. But look, we don't have an allegiance to an energy drink, so we don't have an allegiance to anyone until we get sponsored. Yeah. Look, Mountain Dew. Bang. G Fuel. Look, I love all you guys, but whoever shows us some money, we'll definitely keep you guys.
Out.
Yeah. No. Sell out immediately.
We'll sell out immediately because just see those dollar bills, y'all.
All right, so on today's agenda, 10 minutes into the show,
quite a few things have happened.
Yes, so it is Spooky Nerd
time.
Spooky Nerd Timber, whatever you want to call
Spooky Nerd Timber. Spooky Nerd October. Wow.
Something, but you put...
It's the first year.
You hashtag Spooky Nerds. On our Instagram.
I was going to do Spooky Boys, but it's like, I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, no, Spooky Nerds is pretty
Spooky
good.
Nerds, I like that.
We're good. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, I got something funny to say. I'll probably put it at the end of the show, but it's pretty funny. Okay, so with Spooky Nerds going out this whole month, it's basically going to be the first issue that technically comes out on October, that is recorded in October. So this is officially the first issue of Spooky Nerdtober, Spooky Nerd October, however you want to call it. Yeah. If you guys are not on our YouTube or have been subscribed to our YouTube, we actually have 2 episodes of Resident Evil 7 Let's Plays. As of you guys listening to this, if you guys are listening to it on the week or on the week 8 releases or on the day it releases, hopefully there's like 2 or 3 more episodes that go up on there. So it'd be about maybe episodes 4 or 5 of Resident Evil 7. It's Renee's first time playing through it. It'll be my first time actually going through it without getting freaked out about it. So we record those. We're actually going to go home and record that some more of that stuff after this episode is recorded. So please head on over to our YouTube, subscribe, watch those videos. Let us know what you guys think. We'll do more. I think you and I have more plans afterwards to maybe possibly do something else other than Resident Evil 7. Yeah. So that's also in the talks. We got a month, so there'll be several games. Yeah, it
depends on how far we get in those games and stuff like that.
Exactly. Announcement 2. We've been teasing some sort of advertisement to be popping up around Whittier. This is regarding flyers and business cards that we might have. And Rene have been talking about possibly doing collector's items versions of business cards. Yeah. Essentially what we want to do is we want to make it so that we actually have these business cards, not just to hand out to people and create more waste, but we want to make sure that this becomes some sort of like, I guess, quote unquote value, not money wise, but
not money wise, but like, limited time only.
Exactly.
Kind of like, from what me and Bryan have seen, we want to be way different than any other podcast out there, especially a podcast like ours. Yeah. So we had the great idea of that is within every card, I guess, brick or little block that we make, it's going to be like that only one time how that card would look.
Exactly.
And the next time around will be a different way. The next time we get another set of cards, and business cards, another set of business cards as well, too. We'll have a different art theme or a different artist working on it as well, too. Yeah. And again, we're not working with, specific artists. We're working with anyone that actually wants to get their name out there as well, too. Yes. Anyone that wants to partake, we're more than happy to work with. We just have to schedule it in and stuff like that until, because we'll be getting a lot of cards. I think we'll be getting maybe over 100 business cards.
We'll see how many we can get. This is just speculation right now, but the design, I'm working on it right now for the Series 1 of the business cards. For the Series 1, it's going to be a blank design, which will have space for Rene and I signatures on there. And it'll be the first set to come out. Yeah. Pretty much if you ever see Rene and I out in public and you want one of our business cards, we can go ahead and hand it to you. Yeah. We can go ahead and sign it if you guys like, but it'll be specific for that run only. Once series 2 comes out, we have a dedicated artist, or maybe someone wants to put some stuff up on there as well. Yeah. And this is a shout out to everyone who wants to be involved in it. It's a small little space, so you can quickly just draw something that you maybe represents our show and stuff like that. And we would be more than happy as well to put your information on the back of the card as well.
Oh yes, definitely.
So it'd be advertisement for us as well as advertisement for the artist who wants to start working on commissions as well. Yeah. More than anything, especially at my times with the conventions that I go to at LA Comic Con, I always go through Artist Alley, and I feel like artists deserve as much recognition as possible for the work that they do.
Oh, yeah.
So with that said, keep an eye out for the Series 1 of the business cards coming out soon. I am almost done with the design, and once that happens, we will announce it on the podcast, and they will become available for people to come and pick it up if they ever run into us, and we would be more than happy to sign them.
Definitely.
Again, this is not for monetary value. This is more of like a sentimental thing, just to make it an exclusive run, maybe about a couple batches here and there, and then once those run out, then we'll go ahead and make another one. It'll be series 2, 3, 4, however many we can.
Basically, we wanted to treat it like how a comic book run is. You get the first printing of something, and then when another printing comes out, it's an alternate art and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can already tell how we number our podcast episodes, issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's more to come. There's definitely more to come. And then the last announcement. Why did I forget this last announcement? I feel like I know what it is, and I completely forgot it. So if I remember it, then we'll go over it at the end. But yes, with Spooky Nerds happening.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and start with this, Rene.
Yeah.
We don't talk a lot about scary stuff here on this podcast. No, we don't. But
it doesn't really revolve around unusual stuff. Yeah.
But nerds are very into scary movies and horror and stuff like that, depending on how it's done. Yeah. You have your nerds that are very into, movies like Saw, Hostel, the cult movies like, what's that? The House of a Thousand Corpses or something like that.
House of a Thousand. Yeah, the Rob Zombie films and
stuff like that. So, those cult films and stuff like that. Yeah. But with every issue coming out for this month, Rene and I are going to give you guys a recommendation of movies that we enjoy. Yeah. And possibly if you haven't seen in a while, we recommend that you guys go watch it. So with that said, Rene, do you want to go ahead and kick off the first movie recommendation?
Definitely. What mine is going to be a movie that is available on Netflix. Actually, you'll be able to watch it. Is The Invitation. Oh. And I saw this movie recommended to me on TikTok like a couple months back, and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. And I remember hearing about it, and then when I was scrolling through Netflix, I saw it was available on Netflix, and I was like, oh, okay. And I remember wanting to watch it, so I did. And it was really good. Basically, it's a thriller suspense movie where this man and his new girlfriend, hold on. Ooh, the bang got to me. And
it always does. Yeah, it comes up late too.
I was fine until right now. So it's a movie called The Invitation, where a man gets an invitation from his ex-wife that he hasn't talked to or seen in 2 years, and decides it's an invitation to a dinner party in the Hollywood Hills, I believe. Yeah. And amongst his friends of a long time as well too, they haven't seen his ex-wife either in 2 years. No contact from her at all whatsoever, nothing. And then for some reason she pops out of nowhere and decides to throw a dinner party with her new husband. And basically,
starting to sound creepy.
It's right. That's the thing. So the movie progresses. I don't want to get too much into it, but the main character, which is the husband, is he basically suspects there's something wrong with his ex-wife, that she's not thinking right or she's not acting normal, and he starts suspecting certain things and stuff. And the movie really does a great job of making you figure out things because you find out the reason why they broke up, why they had a divorce. And the thing is that the movie doesn't even blatantly tell you. You're picking up things in the movie treats you like you're smart, which I love. And the way it ends is really good. I love how the
Do you suspect
movie
the
ends.
ending or no?
No, not really. And then the movie does a great job of like, oh wait, maybe he's just acting weird because what he's dealing with and stuff like that. That's why he's acting like that. Then the movie kind of goes like, oh wait, nope,
This reminds me of Gone Girl. Have you ever seen that
Yeah,
movie?
I've seen that movie. Yeah, definitely has like the Gone Girl kind of like thriller.
See, now I don't know if I should watch it because Gone Girl messed me up big time.
But it doesn't have like the anger of Gone Girl. That's the thing.
Okay. Then I'm fine.
It's a good movie. So the movie's called The Invitation. It's on Netflix. I highly recommend it. It came out like maybe
2015.
2015. Oh, you looked it up?
I looked
it
up. 6.6 on IMDb, 88 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Ratings shouldn't matter regardless of it. If you recommend it,
Yeah.
then it's probably a good movie
It's
to
a good
watch.
movie. It's not even like a gory movie as well, too. It's just basically just, a thriller. It's very kind of like, oh, man, So
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Okay. My recommendation, Alien. And
Alien.
I know I mentioned
Everyone's like,
oh my God, really? Look, I'll tell you right now, straight up, I don't like horror movies as much.
Yeah.
I don't like having this, for me personally, which is one of the reasons why I prefer to play scary video games over actually watching them. When it comes to horror, I feel like the actual anticipation and knowing that you can't do anything to the characters or help them out always makes me really nervous. But Alien is one of those movies that I actually grew up watching. I remember watching this as like a kid in elementary school. And yes, it is kind of like a sci-fi thriller. I consider it to be one of the original sci-fi horror movies of the 80s. It's a movie directed by Ridley Scott, who is best known for Blade Runner, Alien, bringing back Alien Covenant, Prometheus, Blade Runner 2049,
No, Alien was
The Martian as well.
Yeah, Alien's a great movie because it's just it really combines that whole like fear of claustrophobia,
Bingo,
and the unknown.
Yes,
which is really good, and then especially taking those elements and just putting them out in space.
Yes,
makes it even more kind of like
yes. And I am a huge movie buff in terms of like tearing apart movies and trying to learn more about its production more than anything. And it's just on certain specific movies. Like if we talk about Baby Driver or Scott Pilgrim, I can tell you hours and hours on end of like facts that I've like researched in those movies, and Alien is one of those. You mentioned claustrophobia. Ridley Scott is a fan of set design when it comes to that sort of stuff, and the set design for that movie was very small. For the reason for it was because they wanted the viewers to feel claustrophobic. They wanted to make sure that the fear wasn't just about the unknown and not knowing what this creature looked like and the suspense. It was about where do you go when this thing is following you. One of the specific scenes, I don't know if you remember, but when they're going through the vents to try to find the alien, and then he turns a corner and the alien just goes like, blah, and then the static on the TV. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's in that, like, where do you go when a creature's in front of you?
Yeah.
There's nowhere to run, but you have to face your inevitable death.
Yeah.
The alien creature, the anatomy of it is just fantastic. I like the fact that it's supposedly the perfect predator, the perfect specimen, the perfect organism. The face huggers are creepy.
Yeah. Oh,
it's just a fantastic movie, and I still think that 40 years from 40 years 30 something years
30 over 30 at least over 30 years
I feel like the movie still holds up.
It's
probably one of the best horror movies in my opinion, and I can watch it continuously on and on again. It's not super gory. More than anything, it's just a thriller. It's suspenseful. And if you're a sci-fi nerd, it's sci-fi. Aliens in space. What else do you want?
That's
right?
True.
So fantastic movie. I highly recommend Alien. Not an friend of the show Bishop might yell at me for this.
Ooh.
Not a fan of aliens.
Oh, that's right. He does love.
He loves aliens. Yeah, I can appreciate.
Well, because it's James Cameron, right?
James Cameron
directed it, and the mode changes a lot. It goes from horror to action.
Yes, I didn't like that shift of tone. I like the whole suspense of the
No, that's true. No, especially when you already have like the horror element already established, and you want that again. And its sequels are always hard to do.
They are. Yeah. And then I feel, who was it that David Fincher did another one? He did one, I think. I'm not sure. Or I might be wrong.
He did Zodiac, didn't he?
He did Zodiac, but I think he directed an Alien movie. I'm not so sure. I think it was Alien 3. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But Alien Covenant, Ridley Scott took the reins of it afterwards after doing Prometheus. And although people don't like Covenant, I feel like Covenant was probably the proper successor to Alien.
Who directed Alien 3? Hold on.
Alien 3. Yeah, look it up. Because correct me, please. Because someone's going to be like, it's not David Fincher, Brian.
You're going to have like Rebel or Bishop
then more
message us right now. No, message
on Wednesday when this issue comes out. They're going to be like, it wasn't directed by him, right? It was someone else.
You could just, I love the way you said it, because we read it in text. So it's like, so the attitude is already there.
We love you guys. Like, I feel like there are fact checkers pretty much every week. So, The Invitation, Alien.
David Fincher did direct it.
Yes, I was right. Okay, we're good.
But the writers, that's what hurt the movie, was because it changed so many writers. That's why.
Because I don't think Ridley Scott planned on making Aliens and Alien 3. He just wanted to make Alien. But the success of the first movie kind of inspired people to just take on over.
Speaking of David Fincher, I rewatched The Social Network.
I haven't seen that movie the whole way through.
Really?
Yeah, and I need to.
Dude, I love that movie so much. I forgot how much I like that movie.
I heard it's pretty good.
It's so good.
I mean, David Fincher forever will haunt me with Gone Girl.
That's true.
Yeah. I'll never forget Gone Girl.
But David Fincher does a great job with that scene where, Eduardo realizes he got screwed. Uh-huh. And the whole leading up to walking up to Mark. Because if you look at the behind the scenes of that, I think it only took maybe like a few takes to do. And they had like so many laptops ready for that day, just in case. They had like over like 50 laptops. Because the scene where Eduardo grabs Mark's laptop and smashes it on the table because he found out.
Why don't they just buy cheap ass laptops?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's probably
it's probably that's why I'm like, you're not going to spend $300 like.
Well, it's going to look like the exact same laptop. That's the thing. Every single time.
I don't buy it.
You don't buy it?
I don't buy it.
Okay, you're going to watch Social Network.
I'll watch it the whole way through. Well, I mean, I might watch The Invitation this week. You don't know.
That's true.
All right, so like I said, nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your spooky people. Your horror people.
It's spooky time.
But Rene, when it comes to watching movies, it's one thing, but have you ever experienced anything spooky?
Any spooky.
Any stories to tell us?
I actually do. I have a few, but I'll tell you one.
Okay. So tell us one. And then in the next issue, I'll tell you one myself.
Okay.
Listeners can tune in to this issue now
and
the next issue
time
afterwards.
with Rene.
Spooky stories with
Rene. Spooky stories with Rene. It doesn't sound spooky, though. Like, people are like, what the fuck?
All right, Rene, hit us with your story. What experiences have you had?
So my experiences I've had was basically... let me see. There's like 3 that I'm trying to think of, but one in particular was 2 of them involved me just laying down in bed, but
helpless.
Yeah, that's
couldn't do nothing.
Right?
Doors closed.
Yeah.
Shutters closed.
Dude, were you there with me?
Windows shut. No one will hear you scream.
Oh man, that's scary.
It happens right now.
It does.
Lights turn off in the studio.
Someone's listening to in
Shut
their
up.
room.
I got my back towards the door. I don't want that.
Someone's listening to it right now, and they're just like laying in bed and like,
oh god. Don't look at the closet.
So for me when I go to bed sometimes, or when I have a hard time sleeping, I either listen to music or watch a YouTube video, and I'll have my earbuds in. Now this is when I had a wired earbuds, so in my phone. So then one day, I'm laying down in bed and I notice that, I fell asleep and I wake up and I still listening to something. But then I was like, I can't go back to sleep yet, or I'm like, I'm having a hard time sleeping. So I'm in the mode of like asleep and awake, like that, like that little realm in your mind where you're falling asleep, but you're also really relaxed at the same time.
Yeah.
I still have my earbuds on, and my right earbud for some reason starts making like a little kind of zzz, or like a something kind of noise, to the point where it goes so loud. It kind of makes me like pause and I'm stiffened. And I don't know if it was because maybe I got electrocuted or something, but the thing is that when it was going, I was hearing voices going like exactly like that. Kind of like that. And I was like, but I couldn't do anything because it was either like a combination of like maybe something was kind of shocking me or sleep paralysis. And I couldn't do anything until I literally kind of got like my hand and flicked the earbud out, and I was like, oh my god! And I like kind of like got up, and nothing hurt. Like I wasn't hurting after either, so I wasn't getting shocked or anything. It was just like that sound made me freeze up for a second, and it was like if what felt like 2 minutes, it was only for like 30 seconds or something like that. So that's what happened to me. And the whole time, and that's why I stopped like listening to my earbuds at night for a little bit and stuff. I turned on the light as well too. You know, obviously I was by myself, but yeah, that's what happened to me like a couple years back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you've been able to sense any like sort of paranormal stuff?
Yes and no. I mean, I feel like I've had weird things happen to me, like where I see something there, but it's not really there. Or like, well, you know, like you kind of like do your quick little movements, and you feel something there, or you out of your corner of your eye, you know, there is something there right with you. But then when you do your second glance,
it's like you don't see it.
It's not there anymore.
Well,
but you know, yeah.
Growing up, have you ever experienced like moments where you feel like you've been connected to like some sort of paranormal stuff, or like seen things consistently enough that you can kind of find a pattern?
No, actually, it happens to me so infrequently in my lifetime, where when I was younger, I always thought I've heard voices literally calling out my name, but no one would be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only reason I say that is because, and like I said, I won't say any of my stories until the next issue.
Yeah.
And mine, you know, it'll take up 2 because mine are pretty long and it's actually connected to one another.
Mm-hmm.
But through my experiences, I've always kind of grown up knowing and kind of having consistent events happen to me that somehow connect to one another. And so that's kind of what freaks people out a little bit, is that there are patterns that kind of follow me around, which is why I asked, like, you know, do you ever see any patterns in your paranormal stuff that you end up seeing?
No, it's always infrequent. It's always, indecisive of how it is. There's never nothing. Basically, when stuff happens to me, it's never the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a quick little teaser for what the story I'm going to say next week is. You know, as a kid, my mom was always really freaked out that I would talk to inanimate objects. Mm-hmm. And this was me in like early, like kindergarten, early elementary school kind of stuff. And she said that I would have this, she actually threw this clown away because she didn't like it. It was a hand-stitched crochet clown that was probably life-size, no bigger than maybe, I don't know, the size of a kindergartner. Yeah. Essentially, it was like life-size, right? I would dress him up in shirts and take him everywhere, and I would actually seat him next to me at the kitchen table when I would eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner, to the point that I would start crying, according to my mom, if my friend didn't have food.
Really?
To feed him.
Huh.
And so this went on for from what I remember, months, until my mom grew pretty freaked out about it and threw him away without telling me, until maybe a couple of years back when she told me, I had to throw that doll away because it was just way too freaky. So I've always had those experiences, and my mom has actually confirmed that she has always kind of felt safer with me around because she feels like I can sense certain things around me and can kind of figure some stuff out. Yeah. Which is why, for me, in my experiences at least, I'm never afraid of the paranormal. Yeah. I don't want to see it, and I'm not comfortable around it, but I'm not afraid of it. Yeah. Because if it's going to kill me, then do it. You know, don't terrorize me. Yeah. I think that's what most things happen. It's just it's terrorization.
I think people are just more scared of when it comes to, the other world or, paranormal. Yeah. People are more afraid of like the whole scaring of it. Yeah. Me, I'm the same way. I'm just like, if you're going to do something, then do it.
Basically.
I like poking the bear. I'll poke the bear. I'll get a Ouija board.
No.
Why not?
No. Why not? I don't mess with that crap.
No one wants to do a Ouija board.
No, because I don't mess with that. I don't tempt
That's what
the
everyone
spirits.
says.
I don't tempt the spirits. I don't.
What do you mean don't tempt the spirits?
Don't tempt them.
You just said
I can feel them, but I ain't gonna talk to them. Why am I gonna tempt them? If I have one right in front of me right now, I'm going to ignore that person. No. Look, if that person, whoever that thing, you know what? I'm sorry, buddy. If you're in front of me, wherever you are, here in this room,
I just want a friendly conversation.
You shut the hell up, Rene. Don't freaking joke about this.
And I just want to know, is there an afterlife?
Rene! Stop it. Issue 19 is the last issue. We don't come back after
We don't come back.
I wonder if people are actually legitimately going to listen to this and go like, this is uncomfortable for me, man.
There's some people that actually won't talk about it at all.
Yeah,
which I get. I mean,
I'll talk about it.
Yeah, no, I get it. The whole Ouija board. Yeah, don't mess with Ouija boards. I'm not saying I want to be that douchebag that's gonna be like, it's nothing. Yeah, let's just play with the Ouija board. No,
yeah, that's how scary movies start.
Okay, no, but I'm saying, yes, I'll be smart about it. We will do the proper procedures to use a Ouija board. I will be so nice and so be polite to you, spirits. I'm just saying, and I will respect you. I would like just a little conversation. And I'm assuming you would like a conversation, spirits, because you've been dead for so long, Not talking to anyone other than ghostly people.
Yeah, I don't like this.
I don't like the energy in here.
I don't like it, all right? Freak me out, Rene.
Okay, fine. So Ouija board's out.
No, Keeping Up with the Nerds does not present Ouija board night.
The Ouija board night. The Ouija board video will be the end of the channel,
That's the end of our stuff.
All right, moving on.
So aside from spooky nerd topics, we'll revisit this back in issue 20. Oh, issue 19. Wow, we're in issue 19.
Issue 19.
Yeah, jeez, man. That's some stuff.
5 away from issue 25 now.
Yes. That's what it is. Now I remember what we did with the other announcement. So I calculated the time from when we started to our 6-month anniversary. It's December 10th. So we are not that far away from our 6-month anniversary.
Okay.
What I kind of have an idea of doing is possibly some sort of giveaway to our listeners. Here's the thing.
I'm going to say what? You guys are going to have to wait.
Yeah, exactly. Because we still have to set this up. But we talked about it before. And I do like the idea of setting up a milestone.
Yeah.
Subscriber count, follower count on Spotify and Podbean to make sure that we reach that benchmark.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to simply say, hey, you know what? 29 subscribers are fine. Yeah. And we stay like that for years. No. Oh my God, the bang's not hitting me too.
I know, yeah.
We want to reach a benchmark. We don't know what we're going to set up, but keep your eyes open. Once we figure this out, we may do a 6-month special for our podcast. So keep your eyes and ears open for that on our feed and our podcast and our YouTube as well. But Rene, do we have anything to talk about in terms of nerdy stuff?
Nerdy stuff. Moving forward from spooky nerds, we're just going to nerdy stuff now. Yes. So the earliest thing that came out was Doctor Strange. Benedict Cumberbatch has been
the Benedict Cumberbatch thing.
Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know. That's an awesome name, mind you. Benedict Cumberbatch. That's like to have that name.
Benedict
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, it is a pretty long name. It's like you didn't think about it because when you said it, I was like, oh, that's his last name, right? It's like, no, wait, Benedict is his first name. Cumberbatch is his last name. So Benedict Cumberbatch confirmed for
Spider-Man 3.
So we have that piece of news. Yes. We also have in DC news.
Yes, Green Lantern TV show has been lit for HBO Max.
I was hoping that we were going to have a Spider-Man, Batman kind of news set for this week.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen because the only piece of news that came out in regards to Batman
is sad, nerdy news that the Batman movie has been pushed or delayed till the release, at least, until 2022.
Yes, so it's another year back, and that's understandable given the fact that some of the
movie theaters, they don't want to open up right away. Regal has announced they have voluntarily closed all of their branches until early 2021.
Yeah, and some of these branches are going down because they just can't afford with what's going on.
Yeah.
I think it was Philip DeFranco who was talking about how some of these theater companies just need to.
DeFranco. I forgot he was a thing. Sorry,
he's still a thing.
I know. I forgot he was a thing.
Yeah, well, because he's kind of matured. He's matured.
Yeah,
a lot.
That's the thing. He hasn't done anything.
No, so he's matured a lot. But he was talking about this in the movies pretty much, how theater companies and like these production companies basically just need to suck up.
Yeah.
And just kind of release their movies because even if Tenet wasn't the example of it, right? They released and it didn't even make that much money. Yeah. But they need to suck it up because a lot of these theaters are basically losing a lot of money.
They're not going to They're not going to stay open to put up a one movie that's going to be maybe around for a month and that's it.
Yeah.
Disney Plus just announced. I forgot. Disney Plus announced that their Pixar movie Soul will be available on Disney Plus on December 25th.
At a cost or not? Because
they haven't disclosed that yet.
Oh, because I wonder why, Disney. I wonder.
Go back to issue 14, I think.
I wonder, Disney. Is it because Mulan didn't do so hot?
Didn't do so hot.
Disney. But I bet you right now that they're only announcing that it's going to be exclusive to stream on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And then they're more than likely going to add a price tag that isn't such so ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the
once
thing.
It comes closer to release. So we'll see.
Oh, well, it comes out, and I said it to in the group chat that we're in. I said it to a friend of the show, Rebel, that maybe because it comes on Christmas, it might be free. Disney could throw us a bone on Christmas Day, but that's me being, optimistic.
Say that again.
That's me being optimistic.
No. Well, Disney was going to throw us a what?
Throw us a bone, and
is that a joke?
Yeah.
Throw
us a soul.
And have a soul and actually not make us pay extra.
Seen the little teaser trailer? For
yeah,
that?
it's
looks
cute.
Good.
It's very fun.
Yeah,
I'd watch it, but again, ask me if I'd spend $30 to watch a Disney movie when I pay a subscription.
Yeah,
the answer's no. You don't even ask me that question.
The answer's no, Rene.
So there's that, but it sucks because it's like all these theaters are closing down.
Yeah,
there's no money going into them, and it's just like, well, what's gonna happen?
And people are losing their jobs again too. That's the thing. That's a whole nother group of people losing their jobs.
For spooky nerds, I was thinking about this. I'm like, is there any like horror stuff that has been coming out? Not really.
Really.
There's been, movies and shows that have been coming out on streaming services that are just kind of like minor stuff. My girlfriend was saying Ratched or something like that released on Netflix, but I didn't even hear about that one. And then the only one that's
Ratchet. Yeah, with the nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah. Yes. So there's that one, but that one wasn't as advertised as The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yeah, is that out?
That's out.
That's out?
But see, that's what I mean.
Netflix is not promoting that to me then.
Because where do you get all your info?
Netflix.
No, you get your info on Facebook and on Twitter.
I guess. Yes. I just post funny memes on my Facebook.
But it's not like...
That's true. Yeah.
Like, if it's not coming out to us, then they're not doing the advertisement correctly.
That's
because we're busy people.
Yeah.
We're basically like the average consumer in the sense that, we have work, we have to drive.
Yeah,
or we
you
have
and
to
I
get
are
to
both
places.
working.
Yeah.
And also we're running this, so it's like, we don't get news. If we don't get it through, like you said, Facebook or Instagram, then we don't know that it's
we
out.
don't. That's what our social media is
Yeah.
for. I don't post that much on Facebook anymore,
No.
nor do I tweet as much. It's just there because I need the info.
Mm-hmm.
They tweet or IGN talks about it. How is it possible that I know more about the Green Lantern having a show, a show on HBO Max that's going to be an hour long on HBO Max? How do I know? Oh my God, I can't even speak at this point. Yeah. How do I know more about that piece of information?
And that show's not even out yet.
Yeah, than The Haunting of Bly Manor, which basically released. I don't even know if it released today as of recording or like the day before.
Yeah, right. Let's see.
But it's like, why? And that's the thing is that this October kind of feels empty. You really have to try to make it spooky.
Yeah.
Maybe someone's gonna call me out on it and say like, no, if you actually really look hard enough, you can find some spooky stuff.
It's so funny too. I've been getting like notifications on Facebook or Instagram, or I'll be on Google. Google News, and then it's funny, an article will say, you can now watch Hocus Pocus on Disney Plus. I'm like, it's been there since Disney Plus opened, you know?
But I get that because it's like, for me at least, my Christmas tradition is to always watch Elf.
Yeah.
I love Elf.
Elf is good.
Yeah. Who's it
I like
directed by? Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau.
Yeah. You find that out about 2 years ago.
I forgot he directed that.
Yeah.
No wonder that's so good. That's like one of the few Will Ferrell movies that I like. I don't like a lot of Will Ferrell movies because sometimes it's like that slapstick comedy that tries too hard good. To be slapstick. Like, I don't like Step Brothers. Good. Okay, so I'm not the only one. No, it's good up until they become friends. Then they just get more stupid. Did we just become best friends? I'm like, I liked it when they were going back and forth.
See, this is what I mean. It's like when we were talking about the Star Wars thing, Jon Favreau has had an influence on me since like forever. I just didn't know about it. But that's what I mean is that like, people can say if you really try hard enough, you'll find your scary stuff.
Yeah.
But most of the stuff that's been coming out is stuff that's already been out. Mm-hmm. I came into the store before we started recording.
Yes.
You were watching Shudder.
I recently subscribed to Shudder today because I got paid. And I added it on my Amazon Prime and it's only $5.99, guys.
If you have Amazon Prime.
If you have Amazon Prime. You can also get get it just on its own as well too, but it's easier for me just to add it on Amazon Prime because I already have it. It's $5.99 a month, and I was watching a show called Creep Show. If you guys don't know what Creep Show is, it's a horror anthology series that takes the whole comic book dynamic and makes it into a show. You know,
didn't Creep Show exist as a
movie? It was a movie in the 1980s that had all the George A. Romero directed it. And Stephen King wrote some short stories in it as well too, along with starring in it as well too. It was really good. And then they made a second one, which was terrible. But the first one was really good. And then the show keeps that vibe of it's being told by like a creeper, basically, like a skeleton kind of guy in a cloak, and he's basically showing you these tales from comic books, and it's really good. It's so good.
Shudder's been really, really good. Yeah, like I've seen some of the stuff that they've been coming out with, and it's like it feels very indie, but the production value is very high.
That's the thing. What I love about Shudder is that when they do exclusive stuff, it's really good. You could tell that they don't, from what the budget is, you're shocked of what they can do.
Yeah,
and also they're slowly but surely too getting rights to certain horror movies. They just got the rights, I believe, to Halloween, the original Halloween movie. So they have the first one, the fourth one, and the fifth one.
Not the second or third.
Not the second or third, but the second one was okay. And the third one was basically without Michael Myers, because originally it was supposed to be like a horror anthology series that John Carpenter wanted to do. He wanted to do basically Halloween's 1 and 2 for Michael Myers, and that was it. The Michael Myers story was done, and then he tried to do Season of the Witch, which was the third one, the third Halloween movie. It didn't do well at all because it was a weird story, but really it was still good for what it was. But again, fans were like, "We want Michael Myers," so he brought Michael Myers back in the fourth one.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting to know. But yeah, it's like nothing has really come out this year that has been kind of making the horror people talk.
That's the thing. There's nothing to be excited about if you're a horror fan or a spooky person in general as well too. I mean, I'm still seeing people decorate their houses, which is really cool. I mean, I'm glad people are still getting into the spirit of it.
We're trying at our apartment.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you'll see it when
I think I did. Yeah, you guys have webs all over your like cases and stuff, don't you?
Oh yeah, the little altar shrine.
Yeah,
Joey.
that was also, yeah. That was great. Still alive. Oh man. Oh man.
Yeah, it just sucks, but it's like I feel like this year has been just. We keep saying it because of the pandemic, but it just feels like everything is kind of slowly just disappearing, and
it sucks.
It sucks. I mean, like I said, I'm not a horror fan, but I like seeing people being excited for horror because it's good.
It's both the pandemic, and I don't want to mention political stuff, but it is the election as well too that are getting people a lot of distracted.
The attention is going away,
and I think people need to kind of just like stay, not stay away from it, but just kind of like take a break from the news, guys, and just relax and enjoy that. So all this, we can try to enjoy the holiday of Halloween as much as we can.
Basically,
I love Halloween. I think Halloween's like my second favorite holiday.
I can appreciate what Halloween is. I'm not going to say that I hate it 100%, but it's an enjoyable holiday if you get into the spirit of it. Like I'll watch my like fun movies and stuff like that, like Hocus Pocus and Halloween Town and stuff like that.
I think everyone has Hocus Pocus, a copy of it in our age. If you're within our in our generation, everyone has a copy. I actually have 2 copies of Hocus Pocus. I have an original Blu-ray, and then someone was nice enough to get me the steel book of the book, and I opened it up. But it was nice. I wanted to see the inside of it.
Fun fact, if we haven't mentioned this before, I believe we do, but Hocus Pocus is filmed here in Whittier as well.
Yes, it was.
So, our town is famous for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why we want to make it our home base. And it technically is our home base. It was filmed up by Central Park. One of the houses, the Devil's House, is actually by Central Park.
Yeah. What was the actor's name that played the devil? Oh, man.
It's been a while since I watched it. Yeah, I might watch it this weekend because the girlfriend and I are planning on carving some pumpkins and doing some Halloween stuff this weekend. So I'll probably watch it. Maybe I'll remember and bring it up issue 20. But the pandemic has, it's inevitable. It's been killing off a lot of these things.
Yeah, nothing's going to change so far, guys. And so far, we just kind of have to still grin and bear it. It seems like it's going to bleed over to 2021. this whole pandemic thing, but we just have to still stick through this, guys.
It'll be over hopefully before we know it.
Yeah.
And to bring it back to some of the things that we were mentioning, how they delayed Batman from 2021 to the 2022 release, and I think it's a late 2022 release.
Yeah, late 2022. So I think they're checking their boxes and making sure that, if 2021, gets better, at least in later 2022, for sure it's going to be a for sure thing by 2022.
I kind of have a feeling that what they did is they announced a later 2022 date. Let me look this up. But even if they did delay it past 2022, into late 2022, by all means, sure, go for it, because it allows, the production to essentially take more time in producing this, this movie right. Like, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, you could still, have a lot of time of filming stuff, making stuff better, rewrites if certain things didn't go their way, and especially in reshoots as well, too. Warner Brothers is really... What?
Excuse me. Okay. It was delayed. The expected date was June 25th, 2021. Then it will now launch in theaters October 1st, 2021.
Oh, so it got pushed back again? Yeah.
Also mandated to close because of the global crisis. And the studios to reshow movies scheduled for summer of fall of 2020 and beyond. As part of... Yeah. So it might even be delayed until October 1st. But I saw 2022.
I saw 2022 as well.
So it's still up in the air. Regardless of it, even if they have to wait that far back, more than likely, let's say this. Best case scenario, they end up, things kind of get better. Things open up pretty quickly. This is the U.S. Things are going to open up quickly as soon as the opportunity happens,
Yeah,
it's just how we are. We're a fast-paced economy and all that other stuff.
We're impatient.
Yeah, we're quick about this sort of stuff. So the way I see it is that if things start to open back up, if this movie was delayed till 2022, this essentially means that there's a buffer. Yeah. We can probably get it October 1st of 2021, for example.
Yeah.
And if not, then maybe early January 2021 or 2022. And at that, my thought is this: if they have and require more time to finish the stuff, then by all means take the time to finish the movie the right way.
Yeah.
Because we got really excited and really hyped up for that movie
with what was coming out. Trailer again just to
get the hype,
just to get the taste.
So it's good. I mean, it's by all means go for it.
Yeah.
I think that we, as fans, want to see nothing but the best.
As long as this time is still being used to make the movie, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
If you're just basically just like, oh, the movie's done. Like, if it was like basically how Wonder Woman is and Black Widow, like the movie's done, but we're just going to wait until like theaters open.
It's a business. They're not going to release it unless they're making big money out of it,
Which I get. They put millions and millions of dollars into those films.
So Batman, fine. They have an excuse to delay.
At this time, it seems that the streaming services are still putting out stuff. One movie, again, I saw in particular, actually, I did watch, this is not a spooky movie or anything like that, but I watched it because I was like, oh, well, this is the only new movie that I haven't seen yet, and it's on Netflix, is The Devil All the Time.
Okay.
With Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland.
Okay.
And have you seen it, or have you seen a trailer for it?
I haven't. That movie has it doesn't even sound familiar at all
It's
to me.
basically when it's with Tom Holland. It takes place in like the late 1960s, where Robert Pattinson plays a young pastor that moves into this new town, or moves into this town, and he's a little shady and stuff like that, and Tom Holland starts suspecting that he's not really a good man and stuff like that. Nothing? With Bill Skarsgård as well, too? Mm-hmm. Really? I got to show you the trailer. It is a great movie. It is so good. Tom Holland really stands out in the whole film. So the movie has Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Sebastian Stan, Bill Skarsgård, and also the actor that played Dudley in the Harry Potter movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Most of those guys are like British actors, and they're all talking.
Why is this one sneaking under the radar?
I don't know why. Dude, you got to watch it. It's really good. The Devil All the Time. If anything, that's another recommendation I give you guys. It's not a spooky movie, but it's a good movie as well,
too. The Devil All the Time,
The Devil All the Time.
Okay.
It's a good movie. Tom Holland, again, really, you really see him widen his acting from Peter Parker. You still see him as like that baby kind of kid, but you see him really grow up in this movie. And it's really good. I like it a lot, especially like the way the third act goes, because you're following like different stories in the film, and they find a way to kind of like weave everything together almost in a way. It's really good. I like it.
probably a good teaser to see what the acting range of Robert Pattinson is like.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's why I watched it. Yeah,
I mean, Bishop has mentioned before that Pattinson is a fantastic actor. People just need to take him away from the Twilight saga and actually see.
Yeah, he's done incredible too. He's done great movie choices to show people that too.
Yeah. So by all means, Warner Brothers, if they need to take the time, and Matt Reeves needs to come in and say, you know what, let's take the time and make this movie right. You know, hopefully everyone in the production studio and everyone working on this movie is okay and staying safe, because there were reports that the Batman production had, coronavirus positive people working on the film. So they need to take their time. They need to be safe. It's something that is essential for them.
Especially of that too. If that's the case, then they need more time to do the film.
What isn't stopping though is the announcements. And Warner Brothers made another announcement in terms of the Green Lantern coming out. The only reason I feel like we need to talk about this is because it goes back to an issue that we were talking about regarding DC streaming services, how they were slowly dissolving and it was moving over to HBO Max. And I think we had this conversation where it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with the DC streaming service because there's still a back catalog of comics and it's been the one to encourage, things like Titans, Doom Patrol, Harley Quinn, like all these different shows. So when it was announced earlier this week that they were making a Green Lantern show and it was premiering on HBO Max, my first thought was essentially we were kind of right in the sense of like basically where they want to start distributing the stuff. They could have easily, like Green Lantern, how can I say this without sounding rude?
What do you mean? Like the character or like
the actual hero?
Yeah, the character.
Yeah, Green Lantern isn't popular enough to warrant a big name to go. Like it's not warranted enough.
I'm making faces right now for you guys.
Okay, put it this way: Guardians of the Galaxy, for example.
That's
fine. What I mean, right? Like when you first saw the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, you're just kind of like,
no. Okay, So I think what you mean is that I think what you're trying to say is if you basically don't know. If you know just Hal Jordan and nothing else,
then you're gonna be like, okay,
yeah, because this show is actually focusing on the other lanterns.
Yes,
and if you don't know anything about Green Lantern, guys, and you're like, other lanterns, what? I thought
Green Lantern has a massive, massive lore behind it.
So Green Lanterns as as of lore, and then as of canon, there are multiple Green Lanterns, especially from our Earth as well too. There are Hal Jordan is the most well-known one, but he's not the first one. Hal Jordan was one. Alan Scott is the Golden Age Green Lantern, and in different interpretations, he's been he becomes a Green Lantern. I think in Earth 2, that was the best way they did with Alan Scott. That's my favorite interpretation of Alan Scott was from the series Earth 2, there's Guy Gardner, which is also he's more of a stuck-up but aggressive guy, but still a cool guy in general. Kyle Rayner is another popular one within the comic book fans because he is actually an artist that becomes the Green Lantern. And then obviously, there's also, if you guys didn't know about Hal Jordan, then they know about Jon Stewart from the animated series.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, there's Stewart, another one.
Yeah,
there.
Jon Stewart, and he is, ex-Marine or ex-military. Yeah. That becomes a Green Lantern on his own as well too.
Yeah. So there is the lore is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that when you think of Green Lantern, if you think of what has come out live action wise, you're gonna think of the Ryan Reynolds. Is it Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds.
Is it Ryan Reynolds?
It's Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, so the Ryan Reynolds movie, and that one bombed hard.
Yeah, he took that movie because Deadpool wasn't getting any traction at all. So he was like, okay, I'll do Green Lantern.
Yeah. So this is actually, I'm not criticizing the fact that it's going on HBO Max. If anything, I'm excited because this is going to inspire more people to learn about the Green Lantern lore and the background, because not only is Green Lantern something that is just specifically one thing, we have an entire color spectrum of lanterns as well out there, and each one represents different ideologies and different things that happen with them. There's Sinestro, for example. Right?
Sinestro's a great character.
So this could expand the storytelling of Green Lantern and everything that goes on beyond it into a more accessible format.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited to see if they're gonna just totally exclude maybe Hal Jordan because I know that they're gonna have the newer ones as well too. Jessica Drew is a newer Green Lantern that came out I think 2 or 3 years ago, and she just became traction right now. But she's been really good. I haven't read anything about her yet, but I've noticed that upon the consumers of Green Lanterns that she is a pretty good lantern.
Whatever is going to move books will be the prominent feature there.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you this. Maybe it'll prove my point. If I were to ask you, Rene, coming into the shop, Rene, how do I get into the Green Lantern? What would you put? What would you put in front of me?
I would probably put in front of you maybe Blackest Night or Brightest Day. Well, Blackest Night comes first, and then Brightest Day after that, because that's like you don't really need to know about too much about the Green Lantern. Just basically that, I would tell you, basically the Green Lantern Corps is facing a new threat. It's called the Black Lanterns. They never faced anything like this before, and it's basically that's like lantern zombies. And it's like, oh, okay, and then after that, Brightest Day, it's like, okay, there's a new threat after Blackest Night and stuff like that.
But do those arcs essentially inspire or motivate you to go ahead and start learning more about?
Yeah, definitely. Because
that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you not just reading about Hal Jordan, you're reading about other Green Lanterns as well too.
The thing about a lot of these things is the accessibility of it. We say years ago, and I think we talked about this in the early issues 1, 2, and 3, and even issue 0. When it comes to nerd culture, it's scary for most people that haven't dived into this sort of aspect to even begin somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
That's why the MCU is so popular. The MCU made it accessible for a lot of people, and I think Warner Brothers is doing a great job in this sense as well with these movies. They may not be as great as the MCU movies, which I probably pissed off someone by saying that.
Yeah.
But but they're easy. They're accessible enough that people can sit down and watch them and be like, "Oh, Aquaman? Yeah, maybe I want to learn more about that stuff."
Yeah.
HBO Max is gaining a lot of traction. It's one of the most popular streaming services out there right now because of the stuff that's going on.
I know they have. I mean, well, HBO in the past, I guess, past 10 years, they've put out a lot of good shows. The
South Park Pandemic episode.
I've never seen that. I want to watch.
You got to watch it. Okay. But put it this way: the moment the South Park episode aired, I have not spoken to a single person that has not either wanted to watch it or has watched it.
Okay.
And guess what? HBO is advertising the crap out of HBO Go or HBO Max.
It's HBO Max because it's only a HBO Max exclusive.
Yes, and they've been advertising the crap out of it to get people to watch it. So
the sucky thing is, I realized I couldn't get HBO Max because I watch everything on Roku. And it's not available on Roku or Fire Stick.
I have an LG TV and it's not on there. So I have to watch it on a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Sucks. Or my phone. So it's that's the thing, is that I feel like this move for Warner Brothers to make a Green Lantern show and putting it on HBO Max is spot on, especially in a time where Netflix is canceling things left and right, and HBO is one of those few. Amazon Prime is another one. Amazon Prime Studios is basically going in and out. The Invincibles by Robert Kirkman.
Yeah, that's gonna. I just saw the trailer. Was it yesterday? And I was really shocked. I completely forgot there was going to be a series, but I didn't know it was going to be an animated one. And I'm so happy it's animated.
Yeah,
because you can still feel the vibe of the comic book. The art is the exact same way how Ryan Otley used to do it. And I love Ryan Otley because he's drawing Spider-Man right now. And I love that. Yeah, J.K. Simmons is playing the father. Steven Yeun is playing Invincible, which is, if you guys don't know who that is, that's Glenn from The Walking Dead doing the voice of the main character Invincible.
It's good when I feel like a show does really well in its advertising department when it encourages people to go out and look for the original source material.
Oh, yeah.
And the Invincibles did that. The Green Lantern will definitely do that. I came into the shop and said, "Oh, I didn't know the Invincibles was a comic." You're like, "Yeah, it was a comic that was written before The Walking Dead." Yeah. It's like, "Oh, shoot. Great. I didn't even know about this."
Again, guys, if you guys don't know what Invincible is, it's basically equivalent of Robert Kirkman made a story about a superhero that is the same likeness as Peter Parker, but with all the powers of Superman, essentially. And he's becoming a teenage superhero, dealing with all the high school stuff, but then taking on these worldly threats as well too, on top of that, which is really cool.
So, and it's written by Robert Kirkman, who is famous for writing The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
So there you go, something different that isn't zombies.
TWD, as I've seen it advertised,
TWD,
which I don't like. I don't know why. I look at it, I'm like, that's stupid. Why? It's The Walking Dead. Why do you have to shorten it? We
because
know
everything
what it
is
is
acronyms, and we live in an era where everything is LOL, LMAO, or IDK
Sus.
or TLDR or whatever.
Sus.
Yeah, I can't even say suspect anymore because
can't say
everyone's like
suspect.
sus.
Which
Rene,
I took it
sus.
Oh my god! I've recently played. If you guys don't know, I've recently got into playing Among Us.
Oh, have you?
It's so much fun. And also very aggravating at the same time. I play it on my phone. You could play it on your phone.
Yeah, I know. I play it on my PC.
Yeah, and then I can play with you while I'm on your phone.
You don't want to play with me.
Why?
Because I can easily
Why? Are you an imposter?
Do you want a short story? I'm not an imposter.
You're acting pretty sus right now.
How much time do we have? Because it's on the Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, now we're in 4 minutes. We hit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll quickly go into this. It was
Yeah.
kind of a short little thing because I think we revisited this.
Yeah.
Back when they mentioned Spider-Man when we talked about the Electro thing, but you mentioned this earlier that they announced Benedict Cumberbatch was going to be in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
So, again, we're going to tackle this, and it's only going to be a 5-minute conversation because here's the thing. We already talked about this in issue 18.
Yes.
Issue 18. In the last issue. We talked about this, and we simply said that the easy answer is that they're going to make a multiverse Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's the way that they were casting and the way they're doing it, and the news that Sony wants to work. This was like a year ago. This was like a year after the success of Spider-Verse, the animated movie, that they want to work on a live action Spider-Verse, and this basically kind of confirms that. Especially how Doctor Strange in his movie will be tackling the multiverse, as they basically announced that.
That's
as well
still
too.
the easy answer.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to tell you is that I don't because I looked at it and I'm just like, because I looked at it and my first initial thought was like, I said this in the last issue. Yeah. This I remember, that the easy answer is that they're going to make a multiverse live action Spider-Man. Yeah. And now people are begging for the other Spider-Man to show up, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. They want them to be on there, you know, because you already have J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. Now you're going to have Jamie Foxx as Electro. You're going to have Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, who we all know in the books basically opens up the multiverse for Spider-Man. Yeah. He essentially becomes a massive mentor for Spider-Man, more so than Iron Man. Yeah. And I feel like Iron Man only became the mentor he is in the MCU. He wasn't necessarily the mentor for Spider-Man in the comic books. Kind of was. Yeah. Because of Civil War, and there were certain arcs where he kind of put his toe in here, but you know, Doctor Strange was the bigger influence to Spider-Man in the comics.
In the MCU, they obviously made Robert Downey Jr. the more influential person in Peter Parker's life. With Doctor Strange coming into the picture, it feels like that could be the same reigns that he could be doing, where, you know, Doctor Strange is kind of showing him. You know, obviously we saw Spider-Man in space, you know, in Infinity War, dealing with like Thanos and stuff like that. Now we get to see him deal with magic stuff, and sorcery and stuff like that, which would be cool, for Spider-Man.
So I've got two predictions here for you. Okay, let's just say, again, this is just my prediction.
This is prediction opinion, people. Not
these are
facts.
just the things that maybe want to see here.
Keeping with the Nerds does not say facts. This is just strictly opinion.
Okay, this could open up the possibility for the introduction of Madam Web.
Oh, fuck! I just now realized that.
Okay,
could be a possibility.
It's a possibility.
So
okay,
cool.
Now just wait.
Wait, was she a? Okay, so my first introduction to Madam Web was from the animated show.
Yes,
was she just from the animated show, or was that always a
I don't think
comic
so.
book thing?
I think that maybe she was introduced in the animated and then kind of put into the comic books.
Kind of like Harley Quinn.
But don't hold me to that.
All right.
Okay, but you know how she's become a bigger influence now in the comics?
Definitely,
she's
Madam
huge.
Web is cool, guys. Yeah, she's a really cool.
Okay, so prediction 1. Madam Web, we get the introduction. I'm not going to say full-fledged acting and, you know, she's making an appearance and like, oh, yes, Spider-Man, I am Madam Web and, you know, the fabric. No, none of that. It's just maybe we get a cameo. Okay, prediction 2. You ready?
Yeah, prediction.
Might get killed for this one.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so here we go.
Prepare yourself, listeners.
Depending on how Sony handles any future negotiations with Disney regarding the Spider-Man license, this could essentially be a way for Disney to maybe give us a different Spider-Man that isn't Tom Holland.
Wait. Oh, you mean like another introduction to?
Yes.
You think they'll pull a Miles?
Probably
a live action Miles that's grown up.
Yes.
From a different universe.
And maybe that could mean Tom Holland can step away from the role and we get a new actor. Because
and then we know that Disney's always about diversity.
It could be that, and it also could be that maybe, like, let's say that the negotiations fall through, because as far as we know, the negotiations are that Disney and Sony agreed for one more movie.
Yeah, they agreed for one more Spider-Man movie, and Tom Holland's supposed to appear in like 2 other like non-Spider-Man movies. So those are potentially like Avenger movies.
Yes. So what if like this tied to the multiverse or whatever that, is being set up by Doctor Strange is an out for Spider-Man, and essentially saying like in this universe, Spider-Man no longer exists. And that way Disney can continue the MCU forward in a different universe. We see that in the Ultimates comics, Ultimate series.
Happened. Yeah, Miles Morales first appeared. He wasn't canon in the 616
universe.
616 universe. He was in, I think it was Universe 42.
Which is the Ultimate
Earth 42,
universe.
Yeah. So
that universe was not going to have a Spider-Man. He dies at the hands of
Green Goblin.
Yes.
Yeah.
He dies at the hands of Green Goblin, and it was only until a couple issues afterwards that Miles Morales takes the mantle, which is the first introduction we get. Yeah. So it could be that this could introduce us to a different Spider-Man or give us a different universe to move forward with a different MCU.
Yeah.
To then not have Spider-Man and just move forward with, the characters that Disney does have a hand on.
That could be it.
X-Men could be introduced.
X-Men could be.
Oh my God. X-Men could be introduced.
And Fantastic Four.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Did we just?
That's from
I love how as we talk more, we start to realize things. But maybe you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think we could probably leave this episode here with that prediction.
Oh, definitely.
And see what other piece of information we get. I doubt we'll know more until maybe next year.
Yeah, later into the next year, or like maybe I don't know. I guess usually Disney or Warner Brothers likes to also save stuff around the holidays to kind of just like let us know, like, hey, here's a little thing that like smoothing your guys' mood. Blah.
There you go. Maybe we get another actor reveal or actress.
Yeah. Ooh.
Madam Web.
Madam Web.
I'm gonna laugh if like I actually predicted Madam Web,
or
someone comes up and is like, Madam Web was already like confirmed for the third movie,
Disney,
right?
Or Sony and Disney comes up like, how did you guys know? Who told you?
We're gonna make you sign an NDA right now. All right, guys. So with that said, I think we'll wrap up this episode of the podcast, issue 19. We're almost at issue 20.
Oh my God, guys!
And then within 2 months, we'll be at our 6th month anniversary.
Jeez.
Thank you guys so much for listening to us, supporting us. More than anything, we appreciate you guys, and we really appreciate the shout outs, the recommendations.
Yes.
If you have friends, family that haven't listened to us, please, let them know. Follow us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, follow us on Podbean as well. We've got socials, Twitter and Instagram. Please follow us and support. Keep your eyes open.
Let us know that you listen to the show. As you guys see, when people come talk to us, we talk about it on the show. So if you guys, want a shout out or any sort of mention that you watch the show, we'll gladly and be happy to talk about it on here as well.
Yes.
Too.
So keep your eyes open, guys. If you guys are in the Whittier area, hopefully you'll start to see some sort of flyers popping in around Uptown Whittier. If we get the chance to do it, I don't know if we can, but we'll see where we can post some stuff up. And like I said, once the business cards start to come out in Series 1, we'll announce it here on the podcast. And then if you guys run into us, we'll be more than happy to sign it in front of you guys, so it is verified.
Yeah.
And it's not just the digital signature. So we'll make sure that happens. And, again, limited run, limited supply. This is more of a sentimental value, not a monetary one.
Yeah.
We want to, just nail that in the head and just make sure that
we just want
you guys know.
Help out local artists, and stuff.
So just let us know, guys. And with that said, are we ready to take this out?
Yes, we are.
Okay, here we go. Thank you, citizens, for listening to this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds Variety Hour. This is Bryan.
Rene.
Coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California. Recording at Undercity Comics. We thank you, citizens, once again, and hope to see you all next time.